Good morning. Hello, Shane.
Good, man.
It's
hot. It's bloody hot. I've just been training people. I'm
Queensland.
covered in sweat from being the coach. I've been training myself.
This is episode number 32 of
32.
Energised Jiu Question and Answers with Shane and Ray. Shane, a well-known PT, gym owner here on the Gold Coast, and myself, Ridolfi, running my Living Longer Younger Natural Therapies Clinic. So today's topic we're looking at, we took both points of view, is high intensity training the right type of training for you, or is it perhaps low intensity training, or a mix? So we're going to talk about different people types and what might be suitable.
Sure, cool. So high intensity interval training is actually really good for health, okay, if it's done correctly and it's done in, like, for example, they did Louis Theroux from BBC did a documentary, and they found that doing one older client doing a 1-minute sprint on a stationary bike for a 65-year-old man was better for them than going to the gym and doing it from a health perspective.
Right.
Health, pure health, okay? But what I would say is high intensity interval training, look, my target market is 40 plus. I don't think it's beneficial for them to do it any more than once a week for my target market, okay? Now, as 18, like I'm 36, so 18 to 35, I think the younger you go, the more you can do it. Like I think 18 to 25, 3 or 4 times a week, knock your socks off, if it's done properly with good technique, okay? But it is hard to do high intensity interval training with good technique because a lot of it is plyometric based, you know? So unless you're doing it in a one-on-one environment, what's quite common these days are the high intensity, interval training gyms, which are very popular, 18 to 25, great for losing weight, great for getting fit, but also great for incurring injuries if not done right. Do you know what I mean? I think it's one of the debates and it's a hot topic, but I would say, look, high intensity interval training also comes down to what sort of trainer are you and also what type of body type are you. Like, for example, is endomorph for short?
Endomorph, big square.
No, endomorph, yeah. So endomorph short and wide. Yeah, that's right. So endomorph, right? High intensity interval training is fantastic for weight loss, okay? They are ones that put muscle on easily. They also put weight easily on because of the size of their body. So if I've got an endomorph client at the moment, which is female, 40, and I've got her doing a lot of circuit training, a lot of boxing, a lot of high intensity, not like, depending on the person. Look, I've got Sue Always, one of our clients, is 63 and does burpees for days. Now she's also what I would say a rare case in 60 plus. I say burpees 40 plus can actually be ROI negative in regards to the damage it does to your body if not done correctly. And the burpee, there's a lot of moving parts in that. But high intensity interval training is a great tool if used correctly, but it's got to be used correctly for the right target market. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my clients, we do I would say a hit blend sort of class on a Thursday morning and a Saturday morning, which we call circuit training, which is 40 on, 20 off, usually for 6 minutes, and doing rounds of it. That's, sort of hit protocol, But obviously a lot of our clients, I don't think doing burpee box jumps are great, you know what I mean? I don't think doing burpee to a pull-up, heavy kettlebell swings, box jumps, heavy wall balls, heavy slam balls. I think all those exercises done at a lightweight, fantastic. Absolutely. With great technique. Plyometrics, no. Like I generally stay away from them with my clients. But with 18 to 25, go to town if you do it right. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of strain on the joints. It's a lot of strain on the body. It's also can get results very quickly. Like you can see body composition changes because of the amount of calories they burn in that short amount of time. And one of the benefits of doing high intensity interval training is the fat burning that happens after it, you know what I mean? With LISS, which we'll talk about, which I recommend a lot with a lot of my clients, which is low intense steady state cardio, you'll raise the heart rate up a little bit, like, it might go to 50-60% of the resting heart rate, but it'll stay that time, but as soon as, say you go for an hour walk, as soon as you stop, it drops back down. Where if you were to do a 15 to 20 minute or a 30 minute high intensity session, you're going up to 80, 90, 95% of the heart rate, getting a lot higher, burning a lot more calories, changing your body type a lot more. Generally, plyometric exercise, which is a big part of HIIT, you'll see people, especially an endomorph put on muscle. You know what I mean? So for me, HIIT is also body type, age type, personality type is important too. And then, for example, if I had an ectomorph, which is the tall, lanky, beanpole basketball player, on the AFL, but long and lean, I wouldn't recommend high intensity interval training. I recommend them heavy strength training, depending on the age and type. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Like what they want to do.
And what they want to do, what their goals are. So there's so many different factors. But I think if you're an 18 to 25-year-old endomorph, go to town. If you're training in good form, I suggest doing HIIT in a one-on-one or a small group environment. Unfortunately, you do get these gyms where there's 40 or 50 people in a class with one trainer. I've seen that very often because it is very popular. And look, it's a great business model. One trainer to 50 people paying for the class. However, how I run my business, my target market is older. They like that personal touch. Our classes don't go above 15 to 1. It's actually illegal to have more than 15 people to one trainer. Just for people out, just for, if you're going to a gym and you're getting those massive classes, you're not getting that. And look, some people don't want that. Young ones generally don't want that touch and personal assistance. And look, that's absolutely fine too. That's also what sort of training do you like? What sort of wear? Do you like paying a bit more for the smaller class? Do you like paying a bit less for the bigger class? It's all different factors. But I think going back to the answer is HIIT good for you? That's a very personal question. You know what I mean? Very personal. And I also would add too is that marketing is so impressionable on young people. You know what I mean? The keto diet, which isn't a bad diet for the right person. Once again, keto is very similar to HIIT. It's great for the right person. Now, I'm not a nutritionist, and I'm not going to claim to be one. I know the basics. I'm plagiarising now. I'll be really honest. I don't know that. Ray, we don't talk about keto today. That's a different conversation. But I think high intensity interval training is dependent on your body type. It's depending on your age. It's dependent on your health and fitness goals. It's also dependent on what you like. You know what I mean? Like to wrap it up. It's a very it's one of those topics like diets. It's one of those topics like supplements that everyone's got their opinion and assholes. But for me, if I'm going to be talking to an 18 to 30-year-old, go to town. As long as you're doing good form and doing it with correct technique and you're being supervised correctly, awesome. 40 plus, not so much.
I think the only caveat I put on that is you're making an assumption that an 18, 25-year-old is fit. And
that's a good point.
Because unfortunately we know that up to 60% of our society now are overweight or obese.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So and a lot of that is in that 18 to 25.
And I good point, right? So we were talking about this too. I'll also add this, right? If you are someone that's technically obese, high intensity interval training is not the way to start your health and fitness program. Whether you're 18, 21, 41, 61, 81, 101, I don't care what your age is, okay? Now I know a lot of people see the Instagram and they see the before and afters and they see this, I lost, 20 kilos in 8 week challenge. Look, that's fantastic. But, and also it depends on gym to gym. Like I know, for example, a friend of mine, Cody, runs a high intensity gym and they scale exercise, which is fantastic. Okay, look guys, if anyone out there is looking for a high intensity interval training gym on the Gold Coast, one I would recommend is Cody at Fit Culture. He's based in Burleigh. Google, Instagram, Facebook.
Cody's a good guy.
He's a great guy, a friend of mine. We've both known him for a long time. But unfortunately, and I do get to see a lot of stuff on Instagram and Facebook myself. I'm not going to name names here, but there are a lot of gyms out there that do these massive classes, 1 or 2 trainers. And we, the benefit from my gym is we get the flow-on effect because people get injured, they don't like to put attention. There's a whole bunch of different factors and they actually come to us because that's what they want as a thing. But for all the 18 to 25-year-olds there that see the before and afters of 8-week challenges of HIIT gyms and stuff like that, don't start off with it. Progress to it, you know what I mean? And if you go to a HIIT gym and they're not scaling the exercise, like if they're doing push burpees, you should be doing push-up. If they're doing box jumps, you should be doing squats, right? If they're doing, 12 kilo wall balls, you should be doing 4, Because the risk, what I would say, the risk is also on the heart. I'm scared of some people having heart attacks, you know what I mean? And also, if you're someone that's super overweight, or someone that's overweight, your risk of injury skyrockets with high intensity interval training if not done with correct technique. It's like high intensity interval training and the CrossFit sort of workouts. And I love CrossFit, and I think, if taught properly, once again, it's a great modality for health and fitness. However, unfortunately, I would say there's probably a very high percentage of trainers out there, probably don't teach it correctly and don't teach it technically. And that's why there's a lot of injuries, and that's why a lot of people get scared of training because they get injured and hurt. And look, a number one rule for my clients, and I'm not saying is we do not, at my gym, we do not hurt our clients. Now, unfortunately, It does happen every now and then, and we can't keep an eye on everyone. You get the occasional alpha that wants to go a heavy deadlift, and we tell them not to, and they do it anyway. However, you've got to express duty of care. But look, honestly, if you're overweight and you're looking to start training, start walking, start swimming, start doing Pilates, start doing yoga. That is a great entrance point. Like for our gym, if someone comes in and they haven't trained in a while, I'll always push them into what we call our low tone classes. So like abs and stretch classes, Pilates, yoga. I always suggest starting off with that and then progressing into strength conditioning, circuit training, HIIT training, once you sort of toughen the body up a little bit.
Yeah. And look, from my point of view, as a natural healthcare therapist, and I work here in the gym and I do treat a lot of Shane's members.
Ray trains here too.
And I train here, and I try and pull the seniors card on burpees and things like that, and you say, get down and do it, Ray.
Ray is a mesomorph that is 64 going on 30 with his body, so he can do burpees. But most 64-year-olds, they get a red card with burpees.
So, what comes out of that then, from my health point of view, it really needs to be customised to the person.
100%.
Because my primary thing is, if you want to get fit, first of all, you need to become healthy. And that becoming healthy might be in a diverse manner of ways. It's the exercise, certainly, and the type of exercise you're going to do to lead up to it. Because, look, it's when you do the low intensity exercise, so if you're out walking, if you're doing jogging, things like that, what's happening is you're bringing in oxygen at a slower rate. That's combining with the fat modules, and it's breaking down fat.
Another big part we didn't talk about was mobility as well. So this is another thing too. I was never flexible. I could never touch my toes. I can only just touch. I've been spending 18 months doing deep stretching, and I'm only just being able to touch my toes now. If you're naturally someone that's not mobile and supple, high intensity interval training, and you're overweight, which is quite often when people are starting, it is a hornet's nest for injuries.
Absolutely.
Like the first thing I assess clients is mobility. And I'm like, cool, don't you do any heavy weights or circuit training or high intensity interval training? We need to get your hips open first and your shoulders, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, injuries can happen both ways. You can be doing low intensity exercise. If you're a runner and you just keep running, well, eventually your hips, knees, back, etc. are going to wear down, because that's high impact.
Yes.
Really high impact. Yes. So it can happen in low intensity exercise as well, and it can happen in high intensity.
Yeah.
So mobility is a big part. Well, in high intensity exercise, what's happening is the central nervous system is really having to fire up.
It's getting
maximum stress.
Yes.
So the big stress from that pumps the cortisol into the system.
Yes.
And for some people, if you're already high stress type person, well, doing that can just keep you stressed for a bit longer as well. So you've got to really choose not only your body type, but what's happening in your life, what's happening in your health at the moment as well. Because I will be talking more about, getting your gut health primed and probiotics. Because when you're getting your gut health in a better state, well, then what's happening then is that fuel source is going to be feeding more better quality fuel.
Digestion's better, you lose weight, you feel better, you sleep better.
Look, and your adrenal function is going to be in a better, stable state.
So I've had a big challenge with adrenals, as you know. You've been treating me for a long time, Ray. It's going on probably 8-9 years, I don't know how long. And one thing that I've really worked on, one thing I've really worked on in the last 2 years is my adrenal and my gut health. Probiotics, magnesium, going to a naturopath consistently, homeopathic liquids as well. So look, I think we'll wrap it up at that. But what we can start off is talk about low intensity, steady state cardio next week. Because we're trying to keep these shows 15 to 20 minutes, guys. Any questions? Give us a 1 of you watching this live. Give us a 2 of you watching in your own time. Any questions? Any feedback? Please drop it down in the comments. This is being Facebook Live.
Please like and share.
Sure. We're also going to pop a link to our Spotify account. We've got a Spotify account which we set up. If you guys want to follow our podcast, we'd love you to do that as well. And we'll pop that in the link underneath this Facebook Live.
Awesome.
Have a great week. See you next week. Episode 33.